If we could, we'd like to begin with a statement from Xavier coach Sean Miller.
You know, this is the hardest part when you lose. You know, you sit on that couch and you listen to the winning coach and the winning players, and I don't know if anybody wants to be there. You know, it just the great feeling of being in the NCAA tournament, what it means to these guys, what it means to our program and university. You're on such a high, and in our case, advancing from Dayton to here was quite a thrill for us. And then, you know, it comes to an end, and that's the amazing nature of this tournament. You win, there's no better feeling, and you lose, it's God, it's terrible. From the sports perspective, it's hard to describe, really is. Because in our case, you know, we don't have anything left, no practices, whatever. I'm very, very proud of our team getting to the tournament, even playing here today. I thought we played an excellent Illinois team, and if that wasn't their best, then they're real, real good. I felt like they played really well against us, and if they do that, we would have had to have an extraordinary game to beat them. Today, we were not as good as Illinois was, but really proud of these two guys, Ryan and Dailyn, and they've had both great individual years, and yeah, it's over, and very, very disappointing, and yet very proud of what we were able to do.
Thank you, Coach. Questions now for the Xavier student-athletes. Dailyn had a career-high 27 points.
Ryan, your first year at Xavier, can you just sum up what this season meant to you in terms of your development and how much fun it was to get to this stage?
Yeah, first and foremost, I got to give all glory to God just to, you know, be in this position. But I would just say, you know, just my first year at Xavier is just all a blessing. You know, just the opportunity that was given to me, and, you know, just the competition that I got to play against every given night, and, you know, just to play with a great group of guys for a great coaching staff. It was just all a blessing, and I enjoyed it. You know, I feel like I grew a lot, you know, as a basketball player, but also just as a young man, and, you know, I'm just excited, you know, just for what's to come.
Dailyn, Ryan just spoke of his growth over this year. You obviously, you know, a big growth for you this season. Where did you develop the most?
I think, like Ryan said, I definitely developed in the game, but most as a young man, like, I learned so much from Coach Miller and my teammates, guys like Zach and Jerome, just fighting through adversity. Like, Jerome's been through so much, and he's a great role model for me, being from my city. And just like going through rough times, ups and downs, they never let me hang my head. They always keep me confident, and I feel like that's the biggest area that I've grown this year.
Ryan, Coach Miller and Coach Underwood both talked about the defense for the Illini tonight. What did they do to make it so tough on this offense?
I would just say, you know, they're a very lengthy team. You know, they have a lot of size. You know, just I think they just scheme, you know, well, and, you know, they just play great on both ends, you know, offensively and defensively. So I would say they're a good team.
Dailyn, to score a career high on this stage in the NCAA tournament, you know, what do you hope you can take from this now moving forward in your career?
I mean, I've always thought that I was capable of having games like this. Obviously, I wish I could have impacted a win. The circumstances are unfortunate, but just a little bit more confidence, I guess.
Ryan, Illinois hits the buzzer beater to go up 5.5. Was there just kind of the same messages from Wednesday night in Dayton when you guys had an even bigger deficit going into the second half? I mean, what was the message in the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Miller always preaches, you know, at halftime that, you know, the first 20 minutes is over. You know, you got to go play another 20 minutes. And, you know, we just put an emphasis on, you know, just trying to get, you know, more defensive rebounds and getting stops in transition. So.
Dailyn, what kind of message did you have or moment did you share with guys that, you know, just played their last game at Xavier, guys like Zach and Jerome and Davion?
I really just told them how much I appreciated them, like Jerome, Zach, Davion, Dante, Marcus. Those guys, like I said, I learned so much from them, and they made my job easier all year because like I'm the young guy and they made it their focal point to teach me while they were going through their years as well. So I just let them know how grateful I am and super appreciative of them.
Anything else for the student athletes? All right, guys, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
you.
Questions for Coach Miller, please.
Coach, just kind of going off what I just asked Dailyn, just what message did you give to the guys that you'll no longer coach and just played their final game at Xavier?
No, like I said, it's what makes it the most difficult part of the season is when it finally ends. But, number one, I'm thankful that I had the opportunity to coach them. Each of them has their own story, and I've talked about it over these last couple of weeks. Davion McKnight is like the silent, assassin, doesn't say a lot of different things. And I was thinking about it actually earlier today. I don't know if he missed a single thing in the 2 years he played for us. And when I say miss anything, I'm talking about June, July, and August, any conditioning, any weight lift, pre-practice, post-practice, practice, games. I mean, his ability to be dependable, trustworthy, be a great teammate, play through the injuries and the discomfort. He gave us every fiber of his body, like everything. He gave us everything. And when you have a chance to coach a guy like that, and by the way, you're in the tournament and you have some success, it's really sad when it ends, but you're also incredibly proud of him because, he has more basketball left in him. And I could go through every one of the seniors that are no longer going to be here. I thought their attitude, their growth during the year, and really their will to want to win is a big reason why we ended our season here today against Illinois. The other part of my message is every once in a while you got to tip your cap to the team you played. Illinois played really well today. They were a better team than us. They were. We would have had to play our best and maybe catch them at a night where they don't make as many threes. Tonight was not that night. And that's what you have to do to advance in this tournament. I wouldn't be surprised if Illinois doesn't advance again.
Speaking of Illinois' threes, they go 12 for 30. Were you happy with the way your defense defended the perimeter? I know one of the threes at the very end, you just kind of laughed off that Illinois hit at the end of the shot clock. So what do you make of your perimeter defense tonight?
No doubt. They hit a couple that we challenged, and they made the shot, but our coverage broke down. We had to actually change our coverage mid-game, which is never a good thing. We kind of went to our plan B, and a lot of times when you go to your plan B, it sounds good, but you're not as good doing it. And as we went to our plan B, which is hard hedging and being more aggressive, we gave up a couple rolls. We didn't protect the rim a couple times. But once we started to do that better, I thought that was our best bet. Maybe I should have gone to it a little bit earlier. But that tells you everything you need to know, and that they were forcing us to do things that we normally don't do, quite frankly, because we didn't have an answer against their offense. The way they pass and their guards' size, really striking. They're young, but they're very, very talented, well coached, good on both offense and defense. They're a really good team.
Coach, you mentioned Davion McKnight and this group leaving as a whole, but Zach Fremantle and Jerome Hunter have spent a long time in this Xavier program. What are those two individuals? What will you remember most about them as they exit the program?
Their resiliency more than anything. Their ability to get up off the mat when things weren't going well. I mean, for everybody's knowledge here now, Jerome Hunter overcame a heart attack and a torn Achilles. I mean, in life, if you have one of those two, that's a tough break. He had both things happen before he left school. That's not even counting the fact that before he came to us at Indiana, he had season-ending surgery on his leg. Got his degree, ended in the tournament. Jerome played in 2 tournaments, played his best basketball the other day at Dayton. He had a great game. And, ditto for Zach. Zach had 3 season-ending injuries. We played last year without him. We thought we were going to lose him this year. Came back, and I think tonight was the first game Zach didn't score in double figures his entire senior year. but we wouldn't even be close to the tournament without Zach's outstanding play. I also think both of those guys grew as a person, and I thought their leadership was also a fixture of what we did this year.
What can you take away from either this game tonight or this season as a whole that you can look to as you look to the future here and into next season?
Look, when you have a chance to have success and you're in the tournament, it has a funny way of repeating itself, because now you have tournament experience. You've climbed a mountain and you got there. And you know what? Guys that are younger who return, guys that you recruit, you recruit them to that. And look, our program has always been built on continued excellence, and we have to use what we did, especially the last 8 weeks of this season, to build.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned that those last 8 weeks. I mean, you guys had a month ago losing record of the Big East, go on and win 7 straight to make the tournament. How did that speak to the resilience of your squad and kind of the attitude heading into next season?
I mean, you said it. You need leadership. You need guys that believe in what we're talking about, and most importantly, everybody's fixed on the games, but it's between the games that are the most important. And I thought our process, our practices, us being able to learn from circumstances, we did a lot of great things that allowed us to be in this tournament for sure.
You spoke of Zach and Jerome with them having plenty of years of experience, but for some of the first-year guys that finished their career at Xavier, like Marcus and Dante, and you talk about being a part of something that's bigger than yourself at Xavier, what was the process like of getting them to be all in on that process and get to this point?
Marcus and Dante, they sacrificed. They both bought into the role that we needed them to have. They got better at that role. They embraced it. And I think they're the definition of two guys that came in here and impacted winning, did a great job for us, and clearly bought into being a part of something that is truly bigger than themselves. I have no doubt that Marcus and Dante will go on and make money playing this game at the pro level. In a large part, I think some of the lessons they learned here this year, that'll be a big reason why both have great careers.
Coach Miller, thank you.
Yep, thank you.